really against us. The reality is now that I don't actually know what I'm going to do.
In part 2, Nigel starts to work on his engine. But will there be anything left of Dipsy to put it in?
I've never seen one as bad as this. Absolutely lethal.
With Dipsy stripped and dipped, it's only now that the true scale of the restoration can be seen.
Pretty much every panel on this bus will need some sort of work.
Nigel has been busy sorting his engine, but he can't find anyone prepared to take on the welder.
I've never seen anything like it. Probably too much for us to take on at the moment.
That's outrageous.
I'm a little bit sort of running out of options.
After a series of humiliating knockbacks, Nigel has decided to focus on finding a welder rather than a specialist camper van restorer. He's heard of a bloke with a good reputation for doing up classic motors. And with time running out, the entire project hangs in the balance.
I sort of tried to keep away from them, to be honest with you, because the amount of work on them. And they've got that much water traps in them. Mud sits underneath, rots them out all the time. Unless you lock them up in the garage and never use them, only in the summer.
Charlie, Nigel, you're right.
Yeah,
how's it going?
Sam, this is the one there.
This is it.
Nigel has struggled because the restorers he's seen are keen to promote their businesses by producing show-winning vans. He just wants Dipsy to be made roadworthy and do the rest of the work himself.
So not looking for a concours finish on it,
No.
but just basically so it's a usable vehicle.
It's really bad, that one, because all the floor panels are gone, the inside panels, all the window panels are gone, the front screen panels gone, and the side panels are gone. So what the doors are like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're gone.
You fancy taking it on then?
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
Roughly, what sort of time scale would you envisage with this sort of?
You're talking about 3 weeks work.
So,
Well, yeah.
really?
Yeah. It won't take long.
Sold.
Nigel can't believe his luck.
Yeah, I could have done with this about 3 weeks ago, to be honest. I've had some sleepless nights, lying there at 4 o'clock in the morning wondering if I actually want to carry on or not, you know, that sort of thing. From last week's potential absolute disaster, if the guy pulls out the bag what we think he's going to pull out, it could just be the lucky break we've been looking for.
So with the bus in Charlie's capable hands, Nigel can now crack on with the engine. Accurate measurements produce more power, and Nigel's first job was to ensure all the individual components were surgically cleaned. It's only when you see all the muddy deposits left in the cleaning solution that you realise how vital this process is.
So all that would have
ended up in your oil.
running in the engine.
And in fact, you can see the little bits of filings from the machining as well. So when you saw the stuff, it looked clean,
Yeah.
but it wasn't clean.
Nigel has sourced a turbocharger from the internet. The lads then designed an engine recipe around it. Now, with all the parts cleaned, it's time for a mock assembly.
This is critical. What we're doing is making sure that all the components that make up your recipe come together and fit together correctly, making sure everything that we've bought is what it says on the packet. Sometimes it comes in the wrong container, and you check and measure twice, fit once, and that way we know it's going to be a good, robust engine.
The engine has to be partially assembled to allow various measurements to be taken and check the clearances. Next, the boys move on to the crankshaft assembly.
Just actually get your hand all the way around and make sure there's a good coat of oil around the entire journal.
These aftermarket components are far more durable than the originals. Nigel isn't looking to compete with the fastest buses on the strip. He wants a combination of performance and reliability that will keep him and his family on the road for another 40 years.
One of the very, very few original VW parts that will end up back in the engine is the flywheel. All these other parts, they're all aftermarket parts, albeit to exactly the same design, so the basic philosophy and design of the engine is exactly the same.
Speed's not the main thing for daily use. Obviously it'll be very nice, but just the reliability over what I've been used to, which is a vehicle that you just weren't quite sure if you were always going to make it to where you were going, especially if you're going on a long journey. So it'd be nice just to be able to get in it, blast up and down the country, wherever I want to go, and not have to worry about it.
It's certainly not about laboratory conditions back at the farm. It's about getting your hands dirty, and Charlie isn't hanging about. But the deeper he gets into the van, the more amazed he is that it was even on the road in the first place.
That one should just pull off. And that's supposed to be welded. So it's lethal, absolutely lethal. I've never seen one as bad as this. My opinion, it's scrap really, but we'll just have to try rebuild it bit by bit.
With the welding and bodywork now out of his hands, Nigel's just happy to be getting stuck into some work.
We want to get Nigel doing as much as possible on the engine build.
Under their expert supervision, of course.
So he's going to be stripping things down, checking things as much as possible, and we'll double check after him and then quality check everything he does. So, there we go, Nigel. One side mopped up, and next we need to take it all apart and clean it again before the next trial assembly.
Ultimately, Nigel hopes the extra horsepower will gain him entry into an elite group of VW enthusiasts called the BWA, or Buses with Attitude.
Basically, it's a club for people who have spent an absolute fortune getting the most ridiculous vehicle to run a fast race on a drag strip.
Their aim is to get a 1.5 ton lump down the drag strip in less than 18 seconds.
There's no way you're going to get a standard bus to run a sub-18, but with modification you can.
A standard bus with a 1.5 or 1.6 litre engine will cover the quarter mile in around 26 seconds. But some of the top BWA boys are doing the sprint in under 14.
You've got to have at least 200 brake horsepower to do that, and get it right on the day.
This sort of power doesn't come cheap. A performance engine can cost anywhere between 5 and 10 grand. Ricky's bus is a 1954 barn door Samba. Despite its rarity, he spent the money on the thrills rather than the frills and fitted a 2.6 Type 4 engine and a 5-speed Porsche gearbox, as well as all the top brakes and running gear.
Basically, I wanted it to be able to put it into 5th gear and drive on the motorway at 70 miles an hour without revving it to pieces. I brought it here today to race, to try and do a sub-18, which it normally does. It usually runs low 16s. I fluffed a couple of gears on the way up the strip, and I only ran an 18.2.
Today, Ricky's time wouldn't have got him into his own club, but just give him a set of lights and a boy racer and he'll be smiling all the way home.
They hate being annihilated by a crappy old bus, and it's such a buzz. Every time I get in the thing, it's just loads of fun, loads of fun.
Back at the farm, it's bad news for Nigel. Despite Charlie's best efforts, it's starting to look like the welding could take twice as long as originally estimated.
Yeah, this is the worst one I've ever done. It's just all out of shape. So all we had to do is cut it all off and start again really. I've got another one I'm working on, and the bodywork ain't bad on it. It's 10 times better than the one we're doing now, so.
The amount of welding needed could blow Nigel's time schedule, and there's another problem that's out of both his and Charlie's hands.
How's it going? Yeah, good, and you?
The replacement floor has arrived, but Charlie is still waiting for the long and short panels, which are being fabricated from scratch. This is holding everything up.
They're on their way. They're having a few very minor problems getting them exactly right. Before we came here, I was really, really worried about the welding.
Yeah.
It was obviously it's the biggest single job on the van, and and it was a big job. It's a big job on any van, but on mine, I knew it was a very big job.
Well, yours a pile of junk, to be quite honest with you. But
have you done many as bad or worse?
No, not as bad as that. No.
No.
You cut sections out, put sections in, but yours is just sections got to be cut out all over the body.
With so much cutting, welding and replacing,
Never better recycled.
will Nigel still be able to call Dipsy an original bus, or will the best part of her be left in a rusty heap outside Charlie's shed?
To do a van of this age, unless you've got an enormous timescale and an enormous budget to find new old stock parts, you have to make compromises. It's as long as I've got a van that looks right and it's solid and straight and usable, that's personally what I want to get out of it. I'm pretty happy, but I'm sure as we get a bit further through, there'll be a few more sleepless nights to come.
In the next episode, Nigel gets a special delivery and his first look at Dipsy Mark II.
Not sure I want to turn around. Oh, God. Oh my word.